Art of Staying Useful, a quiet lesson in power, ego, and survival. Sometimes we solve the problem too quickly, speak too confidently, shine a little too brightly in a room that was never built for equal light. And then something changes. The smiles become careful. The warmth fades. The atmosphere tightens in ways nobody explains directly. Modern life tells us that talent alone creates success. But human beings are older than offices, older than titles, older than corporate language. Beneath our polished conversations still lives an ancient instinct around power, status, and survival. Tonight, we explore the quiet art of staying useful without becoming a threat. Not by shrinking ourselves, but by understanding the fragile human worlds we move through every day. The room that suddenly changes. There is a strange feeling many of us have experienced without fully naming it. A meeting changes tone after we speak too confidently. A manager grows colder after we solve a problem too quickly. A teacher who once praised us becomes distant. A friend stops inviting us after our success becomes too visible. And slowly, without understanding why, the atmosphere around us tightens. We often believe modern life rewards pure talent. We imagine the best idea naturally rises. But human beings are older than offices, older than corporations, older than titles and corner rooms. Our nervous systems still carry ancient instincts about status, territory, and survival. This essay is about a difficult truth most people discover too late. Sometimes the fastest way to lose safety is to make powerful people feel small. And strangely, learning this is not about manipulation. It is about learning how human beings protect their place in the tribe. Once we understand this, work becomes less confusing. Relationships become less painful and daily life becomes calmer. Because many battles we think are about competence are actually about emotional safety. The ancient fire still burning. Long before skyscrapers and emails, human beings lived in small groups where social order meant survival. The strongest hunter, the wisest elder, the most trusted leader carried invisible authority. If someone younger suddenly challenged that position too aggressively, tension spread through the group like smoke through dry grass. Not because humans hated talent, but because instability frightened people. Our modern workplaces still carry these ancient roots. The office badge replaced the tribal necklace. The manager replaced the village elder. But the emotional machinery underneath remains surprisingly similar. A brilliant employee can unknowingly trigger the same fear an ambitious young warrior once triggered around the campfire. This is why intelligence alone does not guarantee peace. Human beings do not simply protect results. They protect identity. And identity is fragile. The weight of invisible crowns. The French writer Voltaire once described how quickly fortune can disappear around power. Nicolas Fouquet was wealthy, brilliant, cultured, and admired. He wanted to impress King Louis XIV with the most magnificent celebration France had ever seen. Gardens glowed with firelight, music filled the night air. Artists, poets, and nobles gathered in awe. Fouquet believed beauty and loyalty would strengthen his relationship with the king. Instead, the king felt overshadowed. The next day, Fouquet was arrested. What destroyed him was not failure. It was accidental superiority. Many modern people repeat this mistake quietly. We believe excellence automatically creates security. But often, visible excellence without emotional awareness creates silent resistance around us. The painful part is that the threat is rarely spoken aloud. People rarely say, "You made me feel replaceable." Instead, opportunities disappear, invitations fade, warmth cools. And the confusion hurts because the punishment feels disconnected from the action. The exhaustion of constant proving. Many people spend years unconsciously performing, trying to be the smartest in the room, the funniest, the most informed, the most impressive. But constant proving creates tension inside the body. Our shoulders tighten. Our speech speeds up. Our attention fragments. We stop participating in life and start managing perception. This is one reason modern work feels so exhausting. Not because the tasks themselves are always difficult, but because social survival consumes enormous energy. The philosopher Lao Tzu once wrote, "He who knows does not speak loudly, not because silence is weakness, but because calm people understand something important." Real strength rarely needs constant display. Galileo and the Gentle Mirror. Galileo understood human nature better than many politicians. When he discovered the moons of Jupiter, he could have centered himself as the genius hero. Instead, he connected the discovery to the Medici family, the powerful rulers supporting his work. He made them feel larger. And because of this, his position became secure. This was not surrendering intelligence. It was emotional wisdom. Galileo understood that people open doors more willingly when they feel respected inside the story. Modern life often teaches the opposite. We are encouraged to build personal brands, dominate conversations, constantly advertise our value. But human beings trust warmth before brilliance, especially those with power. The nervous system reads the room. Our bodies notice emotional danger long before our conscious minds explain it. A boss interrupts more often. Replies become shorter. Praise disappears. Jokes suddenly feel sharp. And the body reacts. Sleep becomes lighter. The stomach tightens before work. The mind rehearses conversations in the shower. Many people think this means they are weak or anxious by nature. But often, the body is simply detecting social instability. Human beings evolved to monitor belonging carefully because exclusion once meant death. Understanding this can bring enormous relief. Sometimes your exhaustion is not laziness. It is your nervous system trying to navigate invisible status tension all day long. The quiet intelligence of restraint. There is a difference between shrinking yourself and pacing yourself. One comes from fear. The other comes from wisdom. The oak tree does not prove its height every hour. In secure relationships, talent can breathe naturally. But in insecure environments, aggressive self-display often creates resistance faster than admiration. This does not mean becoming fake or silent. It means understanding timing. The strongest communicators know how to let others feel capable around them. They ask questions, they invite participation, they create psychological space. Ironically, this often makes them far more influential, because people support what makes them feel safe. The hidden loneliness of powerful people. Power often creates isolation. A leader may have authority, wealth, or status, yet still quietly fear replacement. Every talented newcomer can feel like approaching weather. Most people never think about this. We imagine powerful individuals move through life confidently. But many are deeply protective of their position because they know how unstable status can be. This does not excuse cruelty, but it explains behavior that otherwise feels irrational. Understanding this softens unnecessary resentment. Sometimes the coldness you experience is not hatred. It is fear wearing formal clothes. The modern office as artificial weather. Many modern workspaces overload the human mind. Bright screens, constant alerts, open office noise, performance tracking, invisible competition. Under these conditions, even small social tensions feel enormous. A prehistoric human nervous system was designed for forests. Changing skies, shared meals, and direct communication. Now we spend hours under artificial light interpreting carefully edited emails and unread messages. No wonder misunderstandings grow so quickly. The body struggles to feel safe inside environments built for efficiency instead of calm. And this is why small environmental changes matter more than people realize. 2 small changes that calm the mind. The first practical change is surprisingly simple. Reduce visual competition around your workspace. Too many tabs, notifications, bright screens, and clutter force the brain into constant alertness. Clear one surface near you completely. Leave empty space visible. The mind interprets open visual space as safety. The second change is social. Stop rushing to prove your intelligence in every conversation. Pause before answering immediately. Ask one sincere question before offering your solution. Let people arrive at the insight with you instead of racing ahead of them. This small shift lowers tension dramatically. People resist humiliation more than they resist ideas. And often, life improves not when we dominate rooms, but when we help rooms breathe. Sun no Rikyu and the Forgotten Limit. In old Japan, the tea master Sun no Rikyu became deeply respected by the ruler Hideyoshi. Rikyu was brilliant, refined, admired across the country. But over time, he forgot how delicate proximity to power can be. A statue honoring himself was placed too proudly inside the palace grounds. It crossed an invisible line. Soon after, he was ordered to die. History repeats this lesson quietly across centuries. When people rise too close to power, they sometimes begin believing admiration makes them untouchable. But human hierarchies rarely work that way. Respecting emotional boundaries is not weakness, it is survival wisdom. The difference between ego and peace. Many people chase superiority, believing it will finally bring peace. If they become smarter, richer, sharper, more admired, then perhaps the tension inside will disappear. But superiority is unstable fuel. There is always someone younger, faster, more connected. Peace comes from something quieter. Useful work. Stable relationships. Calm evenings. A nervous system that no longer feels hunted. The philosopher Diogenes once sat peacefully in the sunlight while powerful men chased status endlessly through crowded cities. Sometimes the highest intelligence is learning how little proving is actually necessary for a meaningful life. The art of making others shine. One of the most underrated human skills is making other people feel capable. Not through fake praise, but through attention. Listening fully. Giving credit generously. Creating space for others to speak. This changes environments completely. People relax around those who do not constantly compete with them. And strangely, the people who help others shine are often trusted with the most responsibility over time. Because emotional safety is rare, especially in modern life. Knowing when to leave. Not every environment deserves adaptation. Some leaders are so threatened by competence that nothing will ever feel safe around them. You shrink yourself repeatedly, yet tension remains. In these spaces, chronic stress slowly damages the spirit. The body knows. Headaches increase. Energy collapses after work. Sunday evenings feel heavy. Sometimes wisdom is not learning how to stay invisible. Sometimes wisdom is quietly preparing to leave. Ancient humans migrated when environments stopped supporting life. Modern humans often forget they can do the same. Walking softly through human worlds. Perhaps maturity is realizing that human life is not only about achievement. It is also about emotional balance. Learning when to speak brightly, when to soften, when to step back, when to let another person feel tall for a moment. This is not surrendering your gifts. It is learning how fragile human beings truly are beneath titles and polished language. The sun does not argue with the stars. It simply rises quietly each morning. And maybe our lives become lighter when we stop trying to win every room, and instead learn how to move through human worlds with steadiness, awareness, and calm. This is the Sapiens Way, where humanity reflects on the worlds it creates and the beings it is becoming. The conversation doesn't end here. Visit the quiz tab and share your score in the comments. Thanks for your time, it's been a delight. What should we explore next? Comment, share, and save your insight. Subscribe to Orbital Sapiens and keep your thoughts bright.